Hey everyone, it is me, Rylan. It's August 4th, 2018 at 11:52 p.m. And, uh, okay, I just need to make this video because I think general knowledge, I guess, kind of, I don't know, clear something up, I don't know. The topic of today's video is trigger warnings. What they're about, how you should use them, and why they're important. So, let's just jump in. The reason that I'm making this video, and this incident actually happened like a week ago, and I was really like hot and heated about it, and then I just never talked about it for whatever reason, and something tonight like kind of had to do with the trigger warning, and then I was just sitting on my couch, bored as a motherfucker and sweating. Hello, greasy face. And I was like, I'm going to make a video about this because this, like, still really bothers me. So basically, for those of you that have been living under a rock, or perhaps you're like 93 years old, which is cool, congratulations for making it this long on Earth. But a trigger warning is meant as basically a caveat or a warning or like a caution, red flag of information that might be upsetting and activating to certain populations of people. So trigger warnings might be used for people that are sexual assault survivors. Trigger warning might be used for self-harm or eating disorders. Those are like the main three, like assault, self-harm, eating disorders, suicide, stuff like that. Really, really touchy things that if you happen to have a past with these things, it might be really difficult to, just be like navigating the web and then have someone like boom in your face talk about like one of those things that you've struggled with. So yes, and the word trigger obviously means, just means being like activated and being affected by whatever this event is. So the reason that I'm bringing this up particularly is this is how to not use a trigger warning. Do not put the words trigger warning, just trigger warning, and then go on to talk about whatever you're going to talk about, the thing that involves a trigger warning. So, for example, this is what this person did. They said trigger warning, that's it, and then blah, 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 self-harm. Just put the word trigger warning and not tell us what the trigger is that you are warning us about. And personally for me, this person's post was extremely triggering to me. I didn't intend on reading it. It wasn't my plan to be like, oh, I wonder what it is. Like, let me be Sherlock Holmes. Like, I just was scrolling down and I saw like a couple keywords that are very activating for me. So that's just like trigger warning 101 is you can't just put, and people just usually say TW or CW, content warning. So, TW, you can't just put that. You need to put what the content is that is going to potentially affect people. So please do that. And then another thing is I've gotten into maybe heated debates, difference of opinions of someone about why trigger warnings are important in the first place. And this is between a friend of mine who is not a survivor of any kind, hasn't, whatever, got off lucky, I guess. And then me, someone who has a very long, vast list of trauma history. And the conversation was, basically him saying, why should I be forced to, protect other people? Why is it my responsibility to shield other people? And it was just a really upsetting conversation because I think we've had it twice. And, the second time I was like, we're not going here because, we're not. But the reason why trigger warnings are important is because in the case, and this happens, trauma manifests itself in many different ways for everyone. One trauma survivor's story and manifestation of how that will appear in their body and all that stuff is going to be different from another person. But like my body's main mechanism to deal with something that's too intense, or when I am triggered by something that's happened to me, is to dissociate, which basically means that my body and mind are kind of separate, and I lose touch with reality as a way of my brain saying, this is too much, I'm going to take you out of the moment and protect you because you can't handle this right now. So personally, it was really difficult at acting school when people would be doing scenes of a sexual nature, because I was sexually assaulted my first week during acting school back in 2015. So it was really difficult to be like watching these scenes and then be re-traumatized and then dissociate and be a complete zombie for like 5 hours. Thank God for my classmates, they learned, and I, disclosed to them what happened to me. But they would tell me beforehand, okay, Rylan, this scene is going to have this going on. And so this friend that I had this argument with, like, was one of my acting school friends, and he just kept saying, like, that's not, why should I have to worry if I want to do whatever online, that I have to worry about other people getting hurt? If you want to look at it in the big picture, sure, it's not your problem. But, like, if you want to be a decent human being and, like, be courteous, trigger warnings are important, because you don't know what's going to happen if someone is triggered. I can tell you a very personal story. It's this book, and I think it's called Boy or Girl. And it's about this non-binary person who's like a blogger, and I loved the book. I was like eating it up. I'm like, yes, non-binary representation. And then it got to this place in the book where there was a very violent sexual assault incident that almost 100% mirrored what happened to me. Like, literally, like, a few key details were off, but the motivation and the details were exactly what happened to me. This was like 2 years ago when I was still self-harming. So like, this is trigger warning all over the place. Y'all know, because I'm talking about this, like, that I put trigger warnings in the title, or at least the description, because I'm talking about this. When I read this book and I basically relived what had happened to me through words on a page, I was still self-harming at the time, and I honestly remember I had a really, really bad breakdown, probably a panic attack, although I didn't realize what panic attacks were for me until like years later. But I do remember that night that I self-harmed really, really, really badly. Like, honestly, I think one of like the worst nights ever, because I wasn't prepared that that was going to be thrown at me. And the reason I'm bringing this up is there's this new show on Netflix called The Sinner, where Jessica Biel is the star. And I love her. I think she's an amazing actress. She's fucking beautiful. Like, yes, Jessica Biel. And I've been reading some of the comments to try and get a gist of like what it has to deal with. Because just the description of like the first scene, it says something about her killing a random stranger for no reason. I went, wonder what that's about. And I was getting the gist from the reviews that maybe it had to do something with like, this character having a trauma history from when they were a child. And I haven't been able to come to a clear-cut answer about whether or not this show had to do with this. I know this was a really big controversy when 13 Reasons Why came out. I did not finish that show because once I heard that there was something that had to do with sexual assault, I was like, no thank you, don't want to get into it. I deal with that on my own. I don't need to watch it on TV. So I put some feelers out on Facebook and nobody has answered me yet, so thanks guys. But yeah, it'd be nice to know, like, if what I'm thinking the show is about, if that is in fact part of the storyline. Because, like, if it's not, then great, like, sign me up, I want to watch the show. But if it has to do what I think it does, then, like, I'm not in the place emotionally that I would be able to observe content like that. So this was kind of all over the place, and I didn't really make a solid point because I'm not trying to make a debate about like why trigger warnings need to happen. as far as the case with my friend, disagreeing that they were necessary. But I just remember basically saying to him that, like, it's just, I don't know, it goes beyond common courtesy. It's just like, yeah, I guess it's kind of a respect thing for the things that people have been through, but like also realizing that you, the person, may not realize how what you're saying and your experiences might affect another person. Because as I said, that night was really, really ugly and dangerous and not fun, because I read a book that didn't say anything about what was going to happen. So that is my video. I don't know how long I talked. Too long. So yeah, just like to wrap it up, if you're gonna put a trigger or content warning on something on the internet, like, please do. Please actually write what the warning is and not just write content/trigger warning. That helps nobody. You might as well just go into your story and then like risk really damaging someone. You have to put what the trigger is. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. So have an amazing day, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm not a person that's like, subscribe to my videos, because like, I don't give a shit. But if you happen to like what you saw and you want to watch more videos, I have a lot more videos on mental health and all that jazz. So check out my channel if you're bored and you have nothing better to do with your life. Okay, bye guys.